Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here. Good morning. It's Wednesday, August 6th. We got to talk about the flood risk that is finally moving out of the Carolinas, but I also want to get into the tropics because there's a lot of hubbub online, obviously, every year about this time. The misinformation kind of surpasses the real information. So I want to talk a little bit about that today as well. But let's focus on the rain. We had flash flooding in Charlotte yesterday. Little surprise that we saw that because we expected widespread heavy rain, not a narrow band of 4 to 5 inches. So because of that, we're still concerned today that until this rain moves out of the area, that we've got the potential for some flash flooding, mainly because the area is saturated. So we can't take any more rain. Even light amounts could cause issues. So right now, the biggest issue is that we've got this cluster of showers, mainly across the Piedmont right now. This is moving out of the area pretty quickly. So this area right here is exiting, but it's actually eastern North Carolina that I think is going to be the threat for the rest of the day. But you can see the overall pattern. Everything's kind of exiting pretty quickly. I want to quickly show you the excessive rainfall outlook for today. Most of eastern North Carolina and central North Carolina is in the yellow. That's the 15% chance of flash flooding. As we go into tomorrow, that threat shifts off to the east, and we're almost completely out of it as we go into the weekend, except for along the coast, you see a little low risk there. And why is that? Well, because there's still a small potential, and I emphasize small potential, for some development on the coast of a tropical system. I'm going to show you this first, the wide view. This is honestly your best source of looking out 7 days, what I need to be worried about. Right now, we've got a 60% chance of development from this tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa, but you can see it clearly is going to move into the middle Atlantic. Dexter, already long gone, but we have this system here, which in the last couple of days has gone up, but today it's actually been trending down. And the reason is, even if this system develops, it looks like it's going to do this, kind of move off to the northeast and follow Dexter. So right now, none of these are really forecast to head towards the Carolinas or the East Coast. They're all forecast to recurve to some extent. Now, let me go back to the radar and satellite because we can kind of see this system off the coast of the Carolinas. It's right there. It's this low pressure system in the middle of your screen. It doesn't look very healthy today. It actually doesn't have very many thunderstorms except for down in here. So right now, it's not in a big hurry. It's definitely open, and it's certainly not in a rush to develop. So if anything should develop, it would be slow. It could meander back towards the coast a little bit, but as the trough swings out, I expect everything to do this. But there has been some pretty decent trends today for this to actually look weaker, and I'll show you why. One of my favorite products to look at during the hurricane season aren't individual model runs. If you see someone posting individual model runs 7 to 10 days out, please ignore them, even if they have a blue check next to them. They're not doing you a service. They're really doing you a disservice because that distance out, individual model runs don't do great. What does do good is basically what you're looking at here, ensembles, 51 variations of a single model. So a bunch of ensembles, and it gives you a mean or throws out the extremes and gives you the most likely scenario. So this is European ensemble. A couple days ago, we had a pretty high chance of development off the Carolina coast. It was like 40, 50%. Today, it's down to 10 to 20%, and it's shifted east. But we're also seeing a little hint of something in the Eastern Gulf. That's an area that's actually probably more something to watch for the Carolinas, because remember, if you're on the coast, you worry about every storm that could impact you here. So if you're in the Outer Banks, South Carolina, North Carolina coast, you definitely pay attention. But in the Western Carolinas, you really need to pay attention to the Gulf as well, because that's an area where systems can develop and impact us dramatically. So you can see over the next 10 days, there's not much. I mean, that's 10%, 15% chance of tropical development. That's not really crazy high. So right now, it primarily looks like nothing is going to impact us. If we take a little wider view, I always like looking at ensembles, you can see there's just not a bunch of systems. I'm going to go out 5 days. We'll go out 7 full days. I'll stop it right there. The European, this is the AI version of the ensembles, doesn't show a lot of systems. One little system here, remember there's 51 variations of this. So the fact that only one of the 51 has a weak system, pretty meager looking potential for anything to develop. Now, we are in the heart of hurricane season. We're going into August. So we do expect things to get active in the Atlantic, all right? We definitely have a couple systems we're watching, but right now, in the next 7 to 10 days, there's no immediate threat. We can look at the Google AI modeling, which has been doing pretty cool to look at this year. You see a couple things, and I like looking at this because I can put all of the AI modeling on. You see our low that looks like it could develop there. There's our tropical wave. And there's Dexter right next to my head. So you see the three system we've been watching. Let's go into the future. We'll go out through Friday. I'm going to go out to this weekend. I'm going to stop this Sunday night into Monday morning. Notice a couple things. Our tropical wave that was off the Carolina coast just kind of falls apart. I mean, it's just nowhere to be found. This is the tropical wave that has a 60% chance that's going to recurve. And then notice we've got this hint of something in the Eastern Gulf, but it's already moving inland. So to me, this is a weak system, probably a rainmaker, something to keep an eye on. I would not worry about this. I would not worry about this. I would focus on this system right here, right now for rain, not a big system. Now we'll go further into the future because I want to illustrate something here. The further into the future, the modeling gets worse, okay? As you go out, you start seeing dots everywhere, right? And then you get to the point where it does look like a wave, and this is way out there. This is Friday the 15th. So we're way out there. Notice not much near the US, but there's definitely a clustering here and a low somewhere in there. So that's something to keep an eye on, but it's so far out, it's kind of useless because look what happens. You go longer range, there's dots everywhere. So the modeling becomes useless. This doesn't really tell me anything. It just tells me, hey, it's August in the Atlantic. It's the peak of hurricane season. So the moral of the story is there's not much to worry about right now from the tropics, at least in the next 5 to 7 days. Beyond there, we just don't know. Trust me, hurricanes don't sneak up on us. Someone posting a 10 to 15 day forecast isn't giving you a heads up on anything. It's like posting something and saying there could be cold and snow in the middle of the winter. Shocker. There's going to be something in the Atlantic sometime in mid to late August. It doesn't matter. It matters where it is, where it goes, and where the impacts are. So stay tuned. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to scare you. The biggest thing for me is I want to make you aware, not make you alarmed. So that's the difference between hype. Hype is making you alarmed without making you aware. So we'll make you aware of things that could potentially be out there without scaring you needlessly. So right now, rain is moving out, cooler air is moving out, summer's returning, and we're getting towards the peak of hurricane season, so stay tuned.